The next honorary degree recipient is Liberty DeVitto, and I ask him to join me at the podium. Just pick up one of the 150 million copies of Billy Joel records sold in the last 30 years, and you'll hear why Liberty is called the songwriter's drummer. Spanning his career, Liberty has played with Paul McCartney, Stevie Nicks, Mick Jagger, Roger Daltrey, Ronnie Spector, Karen Carpenter, Phoebe Snow, Elton John, Meatloaf, and many, many more. In 2013, he was inducted into the Classic Drummers Hall of Fame. He has been repeatedly featured in articles, documentaries, and educational publications for over 40 years, and was most recently featured in the documentary A Matter of Trust, The Bridge to Russia. Liberty is proud to have been part of the 9/11 recovery efforts, visiting Ground Zero and supporting the first responders with Billy Joel a few days after the tragedy, performing to raise money to rebuild this, our city. Liberty can be seen live with his Brooklyn, New York-based rock and blues band, the Slim Kings. Liberty is an honorary board member of Little Kids Rock, a non-profit organization that puts instruments and music programs in underserved public schools worldwide. Liberty continues to lecture, interview, and play all over the world. In 2014, the original members of Billy Joel's band were inducted into the Long Island Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. For his exemplary and significant professional achievement, Five Towns College confers the Doctor of Musical Arts degree, DMA, Honoris Causa, upon Liberty DeVitto.
By the power vested in me by the New York State Board of Regents and the Board of Trustees of Five Towns College, I confer the Doctor of Music Arts, Honoris Causa, on Liberty DeVitto, with all the privileges and rights therein contained. Congratulations.
All right, this is unbelievable. Good morning, class of 2015. And good morning to the Board of Trustees, the families and friends of the graduating class, administration, and staff. I'd like to take a moment to commend the faculty of Five Towns College for your dedication to your students and their creativity, to your craft, and to an institute of higher education. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Liberty DeVitto. I come from Seaford, Long Island. I am a musician. I never went to college. The closest I ever get to college, and I am proud to say, was when I came here to Five Town College in 2006 to watch my daughter Devin graduate with a bachelor's degree in business management and audio engineering. She's here today to watch me graduate. College for me was not an option. College didn't offer majors or concentrations in subjects like jazz and commercial music, or audio recording technology, or the option to earn a degree in applied science with a concentration in music business. Non-existent. I was out there making the mistakes that you guys are learning to avoid. Thinking different and being part of an education system of my day was tough. There was hardly any tolerance or room for those who thought as I did. The only thing I knew was I loved music. I got my first set of drums when I was 12. I joined the school band. Just a few years ago, I asked my father why he bought me drums. He said because they didn't invent Prozac yet. I could not do the buzz roll to the Star Spangled Banner. The teacher told me, put the sticks down, DeVitto, you'll never do anything with the drums. It's funny, I still can't do a very good buzz roll. The teacher was wrong in discouraging me from my dream of finding my place in music. My heart belonged to popular music on the radio. For Christmas in 1963, my parents bought me a brand new set of drums. I practiced the records constantly in my basement. My mother loved it. It drove my father nuts. 1963, I'm in 8th grade, and I'm now wearing glasses. Big Coke bottle looking glasses. You know, like Buddy Holly used to wear. Things were not going well for me, and I was just into pop music. You see, back then there were singers and instrumentalists. Elvis belonged to the generation before me. Girls had no interest in some guy who rebelled against school, took shop classes, and, sorry Mike, hated sports. I was obsessed with music. They all loved the sports star. The school football game played on a crisp fall day in a school field with the school band playing songs by Philip Sousa. What could be better? I hated it. The first bonfire I ever went to and a pep rally I ever attended, I got shot in the ass with a paperclip while I was staring at the fire. It was a total waste of time for me. I just didn't get it. I hated sports. I hated the whole male-on-male contact thing. It gave me the creeps. I failed gym because I wouldn't wear a gym suit. I hated the idea of the locker room. Being stripped down to my tighty-whities with a bunch of guys was not my idea of having fun. So sports were out. And when I told somebody I wanted to be a musician, the concept was so far out there and so unattainable, no one could conceive that I would be successful at it. They thought it was foolish and pointless. By the end of 1963, President Kennedy was just assassinated and the country was upside down. And I'm asking myself, what will I do when I grow up, and how am I ever going to meet girls? My answer to both questions came on February 9th, 1964. My family, like every other American family, that night had the TV tuned into the Ed Sullivan Show. And there they were, in black and white. The Beatles were on TV. As I watched the Beatles, the camera panned the audience, and it showed these girls standing on the chairs in the Sullivan Theater, screaming at these not that good-looking guys. Then I panned the living room and I looked around and I saw my sister and her friends screaming at a black and white TV at these not that good looking guys. And I thought, this is it. I know what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna meet girls. Overnight, everything changed. They were here for my generation. Elvis was out, leather jackets were out, all hairstyles we knew were out. Everything was no more. Everything was different now. It was cool to be a musician. I found direction. I will follow the Beatles. Forget the buzz roll. I'm going to be in a band. I ended up being in many bands. In 1972, I was in a band called Topper. We played... Thanks, Andy. We played at a club in Wantor, Long Island. The owner of the place hated our music and told me we were the worst band that ever played in that club. Little did he know he was looking at the future of music. Not dissimilar to how the Yankees scout for great baseball players to help make the team go all the way to the World Series, our drive, musicianship, and sense of humor caught the eye of a piano player, singer-songwriter who was just barely hanging on to his Columbia record deal. He saw what he saw in us, what he was missing, he saw in us. Billy Joel now had a band. Billy Joel didn't make us great. It was greatness that Billy saw in us. With the help of others along the way, we made musical history. I went from Put the Sticks Down DeVitto to You'll Never Do Anything with the Drums to winning Grammys, recording, and touring around the world many times. But I learned so much more than music. I learned never to believe someone's going to make you great. Always let people see the greatness in you. Always strive to be better. I learned that all things that made me different and not fit in made me successful. The things that kept me on the outside forced me to create my own place in the world. I learned that idle hands make for a shitty musician. Actually, idle hands make for a shitty person, really. Stay busy. Don't get caught up in the life that comes along with success. Seek honesty. Remember where you come from. Never lose touch with who you are. Don't be a freaking know-it-all. There is always so much to know and more to learn. Be respectful for those who came before you. Learn from them and respect the grunt work that they put in. Remember those who supported you and encouraged you along the way. Tell them the valuable role they played in your success and growth. Think of their faith in you when you didn't have any faith in yourself. My mom used to wear a shirt to every Billy Joel concert. On the front it said, "My son is," and on the back it said, "Billy Joel's drummer." I will never forget her undying support. I wouldn't have had it made it this far if it wasn't for her. I am grateful for all the people I have been lucky to have in my corner. Be a team player. Don't have your head so far up somebody's ass that people can only see the bottom of your shoes. No amount of ass kissing is going to guarantee your longevity or success, but it will guarantee regret and disrespect from your peers. So in conclusion, why would anybody want to become a professional musician or be in this crazy world of music or be in this business? The same reason they would want to be in a professional anything, really. I am successful because I worked my ass off to get where I am. I wanted it so bad I couldn't conceive of doing anything else. I gave up after-school activities to rehearse. I gave up girlfriends, fiancés, gave up buying expensive things, sacrificed job security, health benefits. My hours went from when somebody wanted me until they were done with me. I never had stock options, sick days, vacation times. I missed out on my kids' first steps, recitals, and graduations. I met my friends through my work only to find that they disappeared when the gig was over or when I quit partying. I am a drummer. I am self-employed, but I still depend on someone else hiring me. I have to constantly watch what I say and be careful of who's around when I talk business. I've heard my words repeated behind my back after confiding in a good friend. Despite all this, I still have the greatest job and life in the world. I get to do what I love. I have a connection with millions of people I never met or will never meet, but we all have something in common: the music. I went from being born in a hall in a hospital and sleeping in a dresser drawer in a one-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, New York, to sleeping in suites in the finest hotels everywhere in the world. I have played in countries where people don't understand the language we're singing in, but the music moves them. I have played Cuba, the Soviet Union, when American performers wouldn't entertain the thought of traveling there. I have shook hands with American president, future king of England, sports stars, famous actors, musicians I idolize, and most importantly, the children who are part of organizations like Make-A-Wish Foundation and Little Kids Rock, who have allowed me to be part of their young lives. These are the greatest experiences. I live for the emotional exchange between the audience and the artist. There is truly nothing to compare to it. This is my life, the life of a musician. There is also a dark side that runs parallel sometimes. It intertwines with the light. And with most things in life, it's the same. This is the side that often challenges me. There's a quote from Erica Jong who says, "Everyone has talent. What is rare is the courage to follow that talent into the dark where it leads." My love for music was there to light the way, and I have had the courage to follow. We are all moved by some form of music. Each musician plays their part. Each writer scripts the song. Each person hears that song, but pulls something different from it. I want you to be that different musician. I want you to be that different writer. Be that different engineer. Be that different manager or composer. Be that different vocalist. Be that different business leader, educator. Be that different parent. Be true to yourself and be courageous enough to be that person. This is how you make a difference. This is the real definition of success. This will last forever. Money and fame will not. When the darkness has you and you don't know how to get to the light, trust your instincts. Trust your education in and out of school. Trust your supporters. Trust yourself. When I leave you today, you will head to your graduation celebrations and parties, and I will go to my next gig. Rockers in Recovery, for those living the sober life. Boy, how things have changed. To you, the graduates, 150 graduates of the class of 2015 of Five Towns College, Long Island, New York, get out there in the world and create wonderful things. Be passionate in everything you do. And remember, life, like music, if lived or played without passion is just noise. Congratulations.